Recorded Books and One Click Digital present We Were Brothers by Barry Moser. Narrated by the author.
Prologue. I have a family photograph that was taken on a Christmas Eve sometime in the early 1960s. We are in my aunt's living room. 2 generations pose in front of a fireplace that, as far as I know, never entertained an actual fire. Above the garlanded mantel hangs a portrait of my aunt's late husband that I painted when I was in high school. The people in the picture are my mother's people. Her husband, sisters, and brother are there, as well as my brother and me. Most of us lived cheek to jowl on a short stretch of a Chattanooga country road. All the people in the picture are dead now. Mother, daddy, aunts, uncles, cousins, and my brother Tommy. I am the only one still alive. Since my brother died, I have reflected on our relationship, mostly in the context of that country road and those people in the picture. Haggards, Holmeses, Coxes, Moores, Mosers. And I have reflected on the culture that shaped them and shaped my brother and me. Without opportunity to be otherwise, Tommy and I were racists, born into the Byzantine machinations of the Jim Crow South. Tommy in 1937, I in 1940. As we grew up, Tommy and I went our separate ways. He stayed in the South. I moved to New England. And for nearly 40 years, the distance between us widened, and at one point it seemed that the gulf had become so vast it would never be bridged, and we would be forever strangers. We both hardened, but I hardened more than he. Though when I read novels and stories or see films in which brothers are close and go places together and have adventures, I often weep. I weep even when they fight, as they do in Jim Harrison's splendid novella Legends of the Fall, because in the end blood and love win out over the divisiveness that once separated the brothers, or the contentious yet deeply affectionate relationship between Norman McLean and his estranged brother Paul in A River Runs Through It, or between Alvin and Lyle Straight in the Straight Story. The childhood miseries of Frank and Malachi McCourt and Angela's Ashes moved me profoundly because they were shared miseries between the brothers. In Abraham Verghese's transcendent Cutting for Stone, Shiva Stone, a surgeon, says that life is in the end about fixing holes. Though Shiva speaks about surgical holes, his twin brother, Marion Stone, who is also a surgeon, takes it as a metaphor for another kind of hole, and that is the hole that divides a family. What he owes his brother most is to tell the story. Only the telling can heal the rift that separates my brother and me, he says. Yes, I have infinite faith in the craft of surgery, but no surgeon can heal the kind of wound that divides 2 brothers. Where silk and steel fail, story must succeed. Our father, Arthur Boyd Moser, had no siblings. However, our daddy, our stepfather, Cheshire Holmes, had 4 brothers, all younger than he, and all of whom lived in Chattanooga or within easy driving distance. The few times we saw his brothers were at breakfast on Christmas Day at their mother's place on the western slope of Missionary Ridge. That was our only connection. None of his brothers ever set foot in our house on Shalford Road. Daddy told me once that he had raised his 4 brothers, his daughter, and my brother and me. And that may very well be the case. Certainly the last part of it is. But the thing is, Daddy didn't much talk about his brothers. Oh, he told stories about his brother David, who had a goat cart as a boy, and about his brother Martin, who was an extra in a war movie that starred Victor Mature, but that's about all. He didn't fish or hunt with his brothers, nor did he socialize with them. As a family, we visited his youngest brother, Gene, at his home when he was recuperating from a motorcycle accident in which he lost one of his legs. We visited his brother Dan and his wife Beverly at his mother's house after Beverly had given birth to a new baby. And I have a vague memory of visiting with his brother David after he returned from the European theater in World War II. He gave Daddy a 9mm Mauser rifle that he brought home as a war trophy. My brother and I were never privy to any personal interaction.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?